So in this episode, I'm going to go into creating a really strong base at home. So for the guys out there, maybe you already have a partner, maybe you already have kids, right? Maybe you're married, have all that. Maybe not. But I'm just going to share what has worked very well for me in my philosophy and for my wife and for our son, and we will have many more kids as well. But it's like the typical standard traditional values, let's say, of having a husband that goes out and works and makes money and builds, and the wife stays at home. There is some merit to that from what I have seen. And I'm just going to share a bit about what I see and why I do what I do. So back when I started my relationship with Jessica, I was pretty clear from the beginning, so was she, that we weren't just going to like casually date. I knew I'm looking for a wife. Like I'm looking to build, and she was too. And so that was cool. So I know not every relationship is going to start like that, but when you're clear on what it is that you want to do with your life and your purpose and all that good stuff, um, it allows you to move faster. It allows you to not waste time meddling over decisions, and you can just see the outcome you want and then move quickly towards that. It also helped a lot that we have some good friends and people that we work with and people in our community that were able to serve as a role model example. So anyway, from early on, probably a month or two in, I was able to just retire Jessica. I told her, "Hey, you don't have to work anymore." Because for a while she was working at a hotel, and then she was doing some like interior design consulting. And then at a certain point, I was like, no, you literally don't have to do that. You just do the interior designing here. Treat our house like a nice hotel. You can be my maid. Seriously, it was great because Jess had less of, let's say, the feminism programming of seeing her worth tied to her success in the world system. So like her job in the world and all that, like she still had a good amount of that. But it wasn't as much as like she thought literally for the rest of her life she was going to work and just be like a boss babe and like running companies and stuff. But I mean, she literally did run a company. She had a cleaning company. And but it wasn't so much her identity attached to it. It was more just like a way for her to make money. And she knew she was good at it. So very early on, I saw the value of us each, instead of going 50-50, and we've made videos on this, but I'm going to have her on this podcast as well a bit more soon. I have a lot of new stuff coming out. It's going to get really, really, really good. Like the past episodes are already really good. It's going to get even better. Just because I'm doing so much locally that I'm like documenting what I'm seeing is working really well. Because again, times are changing and I'm seeing cutting edge, like what's working. So one thing that has been working really well from the beginning of our relationship was we agreed to go 100%, 100%. So instead of the whole 50-50 thing, where, it's like the wife is like, oh, I need to, bring in 50% of the money. And the husband's like, yeah, I'll do 50% of the laundry. You have to look at what's practical for you. I'm not going to say end all be all, this is what works, but I'm just letting you know it works really well for us. And I know a lot of other couples that do this too. So we assigned our responsibilities. So it's like, for me, it's bring in the money and run the business and all that. And then for Jess, it's like make sure that we have, food set up. And it's basically the guys can get really good at making the money, and then the women get really good at spending the money. And you might like laugh at that or think like, oh, he's joking, but I'm serious. Like women are really good at spending money. And I don't mean that in a way of like that she now wants to go shopping and buying random purses and shit. It's like, actually, she's really good at knowing like, hey, I don't know, we got our homestead. So she's like, hey, the chickens need like this type of water, and it's actually going to save us so much time on doing the chicken chores. Like, great. And she's like, yeah, I found like 3 options. Which one do you want? I'm like, oh, just get that one. She has a whole spreadsheet. Well, we built it together, but it's called a vision document. It's all the things we want to get categorized by priority. I mean, like big picture stuff. Like we want to have like a really awesome RV. So we can go like traveling, and we can go like hop around different cities and do like self-perfected clubhouses. But we can have our RV with us. And there's like the nice one, and then there's like the really nice one. So, but that's on Jess. Like she'll research that. She doesn't spend all day researching stuff that's, a couple years out in the future, or maybe it's a year out, right? Depending how things keep going. But that spreadsheet is really cool because then now I factor that into everything that I do. So yeah, Jess is retired technically because she doesn't have a job or business or anything, but she now can actually really focus on creating the most awesome environment for me, for Aristotle, our son, for our kids, future kids, for our community. Next weekend, we're hosting a family fun day, which means there's going to be, I don't know, 12, 15, some families from around here that are all kind of like-minded. A lot of them are interested in homeschooling and just building community with both adults and kids. Alcohol-free. It'll be fun. There'll be like a bounce house and slip and slide and stuff. And that was one of the reasons we got this property, is because we have a lot of space and it's really cool. And so kids can come and pet the chickens or meet our barn cats or whatever, go in the garden and pick some food and eat it. So it's like creating those types of experiences. But now Jessica like handles all that. And that's amazing, because I couldn't, if it was up to me to put on the event, I would get the slip and slide and we'd probably order pizza. And it'd be an epic slip and slide. But like, guys are very good at being narrow focused. If this is one of your first things you're seeing of me as well, like this is just a basic thing where in general, men are really good at being single-minded. Like biologically, we are wired for this. I know that's controversial nowadays to say, is just a fact. Women are really good at multitasking. Now, how efficient they are at multitasking and if they're scrolling their phone when they're doing it, it'll vary. But like Jessica is amazing. I mean, right now she's cleaning the dishes, making us pancakes, watching Aristotle, taking care of the dogs, and like planning the day. And I'm sure she's like gonna have a phone call with one of the women in the women's group that she's part of. I'm like, that's epic. I'm just filming this video. And like, there's no distractions, no notifications, because I'm really good at that. And so when I go 100% into what I do and what Jess does 100% with what she does, it's an amazing thing that unfolds. And this is so important because right now, I'll speak to the guys. We have been coddled and not effectively raised. And some guys have been overly babied, and other guys have had no support. Either way, it's messed up. So for the guys that have been overly feminized and weakened, it's going to be on you to learn how to, grab yourself by the balls and get yourself to go move and have real purpose and really realize that like providing is one of the greatest things you can do. And you got to learn real practical skills and you got to really rebuild yourself from the inside out. And then for the guys who had no support, you're going to also have to figure out how to get yourself unsuppressed, because suppression is rampant in today's day and age. And it's really not good, because that's why you'll see some people then violently act out, or people go crazy online and they're, posting a bunch of shit where they would not say that at all if you were in person with people. But it's like anything that I say in any of my videos, I will talk to anyone about one-on-one or in person. Like I stand by what I say and I know the shit that works for me and Jessica. And we have a bunch of other families in the Self-Perfected group that talk about this stuff and that do this and we live this. So it's just like a natural expression that I share these videos, because for me, what changed my life was different videos and trainings that I was exposed to. And then from that, I then reached out because I was like, hey, I want my life to get way better. I know there's a best version of me and I'm not living it. At the time, I was not living it. And so I would reach out and I would talk to people, and that got me into different groups. And it's how I met a lot of the people that I work with now with Self-Perfected, with TechnoTutor. We're disrupting the education system. We're what Amazon was in 1998 when Jeff Bezos was just sitting in his warehouse with his table and he was doing all the unboxes. I mean, that's like literally still what TechnoTutor is right now. Like I'm going to ship a product of TechnoTutor later today. And it's like, I don't have an assistant yet to do that. And Jess has the baby. So it's like, it just is what it is. Like you got the work you got to get done and then you build systems for it. But that's what it means to be front lines, being a man, building something. So the other part in this video I wanted to talk about, because I want to talk about why I retired Jessica and how I see our gender roles and all that, because it works really, really, really well. I mean, no matter how much I hold Aristotle, our baby, and comfort him, I cannot breastfeed him. I cannot like lay with him and like really comfort him. Like I can a little bit here and there, and I do my best. And if Jess ever needs, I mean, she's a rock star. Like I've honestly, in terms of the amount of diapers I've changed of Aristotle on my own, it's under 10. It's probably like 6. And I'm not saying that to like brag or anything of like, oh, we're so amazing. It's just like literally when you set up your relationship right, you can have a really, really effective relationship. And that's what we've done. So I'm sharing it. The amount of times I've stayed up with Aristotle, and I mean, again, we were very intentional with our birth with him. Like we had a home birth specifically. We've intentionally not put him through the standard medical system. We've very intentionally been really stable with him. We do techno-tutor with him already. Jess reads books to him. Jess is always with him, basically. There's been one time where Jess really needed sleep, or I think twice, where I had to like walk around with him and like pace with him, like once in the middle of the night, and then one, it was like some afternoon Jess was sick. And so for like 3 or 4 hours I had him. It's like, whoa, this is crazy. So again, I know not every family dynamic is gonna be like that or even able to be like that right now, but it's like deep down, you want that on some level. You want to have that united partnership where the mom can totally be amazing as a mom and the dad can totally be amazing as a dad. And you're either going to now fight for your limitations, say, yeah, well, that's just not possible. Or, it works for you, but it won't work for me. Or I'm special because this situation. But it's like, if you actually want to create a path to improve it, I mean, that's literally what the Self-Perfected group is for. Like behind the scenes, I know we talk a lot about like money and, impact and purpose. The behind the scenes stuff is like the nitty gritty, like what does your day actually look like? How can we help you improve that? So if you're hearing this and you're like, hey, I think my relationship could improve or my dynamics, or you're still single and you want to have a relationship, we can show you how to set it up properly from day one. Again, you got to be willing to now do the change. And I mean, I do self-development stuff for like 2 hours every single morning, and I have for the past 4 years. I have really for the past like 9 years, but now with the tools that really work, techno-tutor, self-forgiveness, I do that for an hour or two every single day. And I'm very dedicated. I'm kind of an intense person, but it works and it's great and it pays off handsomely. So the other things I wanted to bring up was just a few other things. I know I just got to throw it on the podcast because I've really designed this so that people can listen from episode 1 all the way through. Because every episode has a specific purpose to it. Everything I say has a purpose to it. So we did a home birth specifically. I do not recommend that for everybody if they're not stable in doing this process. Because if you have more fear about a home birth, I can barely even advise on it. I'm just letting you know what worked for us. Jess was very set on doing a home birth here. We had a midwife and a doula, awesome birth team. We had like 4 women there that had been through thousands of these births. So it was great. You need that team with you. Again, if you got questions or you're watching this or you share this with your wife or whatever, and you are interested in this kind of thing, myself and Jessica are available for people who are actually teachable and want to learn the stuff. But we did that. And then, literally, I have then gone even harder with everything I do. It's like a really good relationship will help you do even more. Now, don't use that as an excuse to now try and get a divorce. Or to be like, I knew it. I knew that's why my relationship won't work. No, because you're going to recreate the same thing with the next person if you break up. Because they're a big reflection of you. But what I've noticed with Jessica and our relationship is that every day I'm able to take on a little bit more responsibility. I have a little bit more abilities, a little bit more power in what I do, a little bit more vision, a little bit more determination. And that is something that is priceless. So no matter where you're at, I would just encourage you at the end of this episode here, grab a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper, and just write out like, what do you really want with your relationship? You might have already written this out 20 times. Do it a 21st time. Because every single day you're a new person. You now have new information, new reference points from this. Or maybe you already knew all this stuff, but it's like when you listen to information too, it allows you to process what's going on, and it might now strengthen what you currently thought. Or maybe you got a new analogy, so now you can support another person with it. So that's why I'm like always listening, not always, but I listen to a lot of stuff every day. I listen to podcasts like for a couple hours a day, especially if I'm driving, audiobooks and things like that, because you're always changing and evolving. But the whole time, and this is the point, is you gotta keep being focused on what you want to create, what you are creating, not even want, because you gotta look up want in the dictionary. Like vocabulary is so important. It's a huge part of this. So understand what it is that you intend to create. What is your intention? And write that out. And you can be specific, you can be general, you can be all the above. But to really keep holding on to that. And then here's the other part. And I bring this up in pretty much every episode because repetition is important. I choose to align everything that I want and my intentions and what I'm creating with the best reality for everybody. A way better system. A system where everyone has their needs met. We still have capitalism, but it's capitalism that is like enlightened in a sense, where we can at least have the basic needs met for people so that when they're born, they're not born into complete trauma, or they at least have food on the table as a kid and they have clean water. Because good luck having a decent capitalist system if most of the people are, drinking polluted water and, struggling to even find food to eat. It's like, imagine the level of competition and capitalism and innovation we'll have as we make sure everyone at least has their needs met. And if they want to go above and beyond and get some nice stuff or take a trip to Hawaii, you got to earn that. But you got your basic needs covered. And we're going to need that anyway because AI is going to disrupt 800 million jobs. According to the UN, we've been saying this for years, jobs are going to be disrupted. People are going to need a basic income. They're going to try and push some sort of cryptocurrency thing from the government, FedCoin or whatever the hell they're calling it. It's going to really cause a lot of shifts. So that is why it is so important for you. And one of the most important decisions you make in your life is who is your partner. And it's so important for you and your partner to be on the same page because it gives you a stability, a really deep stability. And that's going to be vital because the system is crashing and a new system is being created. And that's what we work on every day. That's what Self Perfected is all about. Plug in, join us. Self Perfected is free. It just requires you to be baseline cool and teachable and answer some questions before you come in the group because we keep it troll free. So join us and then we can give you advice or different things that we've seen work well. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to make your own decisions. There's no leader. There's no guru. There's no thing you got to follow, except there are principles that we all live by and we will sell you on why it makes sense. Because your life gets way better when you have principles that you operate from instead of your feelings. And that, you're seeing me and Jess and we're 4 years in roughly. We're still really just getting started. We still only have one kid. People will watch these videos 5-10 years from now and you'll see I'm just a normal guy. I'm just very dedicated. And we figured out a few things that work really well. And one of those is, as a man, really stepping up, taking that responsibility, going 100%, and then your partner goes 100%, your wife, husband, whatever. And then you really engineer from there and you align all of that with also creating the best outcome for everyone around you too. Because you're always going to have neighbors, you're always going to have community. So make sure that they're taken care of as well and the whole world while we're at it. All right, cool. Well, if you like this, check out the other episodes. I'll get this on Spotify soon. Right now it's on YouTube, but yeah, it's like I move fast and I just get the stuff good enough, send it out. And and then join Self Perfected, join the Friday Hangouts. Like, see what this is about. This is unlike anything you've ever seen because this is the first time ever that you have a whole grassroots community of people united in principles, also with families, also with having kids, raising our kids to be geniuses. This is next level, and I look forward to meeting you and showing you around the community. All right, see ya.